I could never win this game when I was younger, and I think that's probably true for most people who are watching this video and played it back then, or even better, those who have tried it later as an adult. It's just an extremely hard and beautiful game, but there is a reason behind all of that, so let's explain that easily. The Lion King is a side-scrolling platform game where players take control of Simba, the main character, as he goes through the story of the movie, experiencing both his young and adult age as the game moves on. In the first part of the game, we actually control Simba as a little cub, mainly defeating enemies by jumping on them. Simba also has a set of number of lives based on how hard the game is. He loses a life if he runs out of health or falls into an obstacle. So by passing through the checkpoints in the level, we as Simba can actually restart from that spot if we lose a life. But the brutal part was this: if players still have any continues left, we can start again from the last stage where we got the game over. But if we don't, we have to go all the way back to the title screen and start the game all over again. So the game was hard and it was doing something visually no one expected. But how? The Lion King game was different from the very beginning, because instead of outsourcing basic pixel art, Disney allowed the actual animators to use real animation references to shapes, Simba movement and expression. But those animators who were working on the game were also working on the movie. So the final result of that merging was something unusual for that time, because there was finally a game that tried to at least visually match the movie. But that's not all. Additionally, the soundtracks included songs taken directly from the movie, and the story closely followed important scenes, making it feel like a continuation rather just than a spin-off. So this high level of quality stood out in the market full of some low-effort tie-ins, and players reacted positively. But you may ask, how well? I'm glad you asked, because it's sold staggering 1.27 million copies of Super NES version in the USA, and game players named it Sega Genesis Game of the Year, beating out Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. They said that even on the easy setting, the game is tough for someone who plays it a lot. But why did they say that? Once again, I'm glad you asked. It's famous for being really hard, but that was on purpose. Back in the 90s, renting games was actually super popular, and a lot of players would rent the game, finish it in just a weekend and then return it without actually buying them, and that was a problem for Disney. So they made a game plan. They decided that the game needs to be tougher so that players would spend more time playing it. Simple, right? More time playing it meant more chances of buying the game, because you cannot finish it during the weekends. That's why levels like Can't Wait to Be King need perfect timing and a lot of practice and a lot of skill, which makes players stuck for a longer time. But also, the game had limited lives and continues, so making mistakes really mattered. This design made players stick with the game longer, and it led to great sales, with millions of copies sold on different platforms. But there was a thing. The jump in difficulty was so huge that one of the game developers said sorry on Reddit nearly 20 years after the game came out. They explained that this level, Can't Wait to Be King, was supposed to be way easier, with no chance of dying, and centered around the monkey puzzle. But it wasn't. And that really struck with me so much that I had to make a whole video about it. But maybe, who knows, if you like this one, I'll make some more.